show the whole world what we're all about. Be the girls with a passion for fashion.
Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are going to be covering where the Rock of Love girls are now. For anyone that doesn't know or remember the show Rock of Love, it was kind of a love/dating show, game show, following Bret Michaels from the band Poison, and it was just basically his search for love. It had 3 full seasons with 40 episodes, so it was a pretty successful show. I'd say it kind of reminded me or was inspired by The Bachelor or Flavor of Love. But honestly, at the time, this was definitely one of my favorites. Mostly because I just loved the aesthetic of the trashy kind of early 2000s bimbo that we all love. And yeah, so the concept of the show was each episode, they have like challenges centered around like the theme of like rock music or like basically kind of what Bret looks for in women. And every episode they basically have eliminations where he would give the girls backstage passes if they continued on, kind of how The Bachelor gives roses. The show Flavor of Love, he gave clocks. Bret Michaels gave backstage passes, I guess, and if they don't receive the backstage passes, they go home. So yeah, that was pretty much the concept of the show. Pretty amazing, honestly, now watching back. What did you guys think about this show? Was it like one of your favorites? Let me know in the comments if you preferred this or if you like preferred Flavor of Love. So first up, we have Miss Lacey Skulls. So if you watched Rock of Love, you definitely remember this face. You definitely remember the red hair, the evil smile. If you watch the show, just you know who this is. I don't need to speak too much, but we're going to go into where she is now. So Lacey Skulls was on season 1 of Rock of Love. I'd say she was most memorable for being the villain, and also the time that she pushed Jen, I think was her name, in the pool. I remember watching that when I was younger and being like, what the hell is wrong with this woman? She is crazy. So on season 1, Lacey actually placed 3rd place, which I think honestly she made it so long on the show was because she kind of was the villain. And I'm going to talk a little bit about like actually that was kind of what she wanted to portray. She wanted to kind of be the villain. She wanted to bring some excitement to the show. So we'll go into that in a little bit. But at the time of the show, Lacey was, if I did my math right, she was about 30 years old. She was in a rock band. So I remember the first time she walked into the house, she was playing on the drums. Sorry, I totally blanked out. She was playing on the drums and kind of was making a scene because she obviously, out of all the girls there, was the one that was kind of more musical, and she really wanted that to stand out, so Bret liked her, obviously. So later on, Lacey actually goes into detail. I actually found an interview she had online where she talks about how her being the villain was intentional. These are actually from her. I'm going to quote her, but she says that she remembers Mia, or I think it was Maya, I don't remember, and a couple other girls were talking and doing their nails, and the cameraman was zooming in, and it just seemed so boring. She said she remembers looking at them, watching them talk, listening to what they were saying, and then looking at the cameraman all, and she was like, oh my god, this show is going to be a effing flop. And she said that she basically took ownership and was like, I gotta do something. I need to be the villain. We gotta make this show exciting. We gotta get multiple seasons, because if not, she was feeling like the show wasn't gonna do very well. So, yeah, I remember her being quite the character on the show. It's on Hulu if anybody wants to watch it. I'm not necessarily going into detail about the show. We're mostly going to be talking about where they are today. So yeah. So Lacey present day, she has a podcast here on YouTube. It's actually called Talk of Love. She interviews a lot of past reality show stars from Rock of Love, Flavor of Love, For the Love of Ray J, and I think a few others. But I honestly love her podcast. I think it's really awesome that she interviews some of the people that we all kind of miss. Like, we all kind of wonder where these people went, you know? I don't watch every episode, but I do like to watch the ones where I'm like, oh wait, I actually do remember this person from the show. I want to see what they're up to, you know? So basically when she started out this podcast, she originally had it with another cast member from the name of Heather Chadwell, which I'll be talking about next. I'm sure we all remember her as well. And some things went down where the podcast kind of had a breakup, and Heather was trying to get it back, but technically Lacey was the sole owner of it. So Heather, who then made her own podcast called Celebrity Truth. And honestly, the podcast Celebrity Truth doesn't do as well as Lacey's Talk of Love. Props to her for kind of moving on and doing her own thing. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff that went down. I think this was like last spring during, honestly, the quarantine, like pandemic, but whatever. So yeah, I don't know too much about what Lacey's doing too much, but honestly, just scrolling through Instagram, she seems really happy. She's actually married now. She has some dogs. And yeah, I just really hope she continues the podcast. I think it's awesome that she's doing that. She seems to still be kind of living off of her reality TV kind of era, but yeah, props to her for making it a thing. Good luck to your podcast, Lacey, and yeah, moving on. Next up, we have Heather Chadwell, the runner-up of Season 1 of Rock of Love. So Heather actually went on to do some other things with VH1. I think she was on, like, Charm School, I Love Money, and she was also, like, some on other seasons of, like, Rock of Love. Like, I remember her coming back and kind of doing some challenges with the girls. I think she even got into, like, almost a fight with this girl named Britannia. She came to, like, Season 2, Rock of Love reunion and fought Daisy, who we'll be talking about next. Spoiler, she's actually like one of my favorite girls from Rock of Love. But anyways, yeah. Heather just kind of did reality TV for a little bit. She disappeared for a while. Just looking at her Instagram, she said she is currently an actress, which I think she has a movie coming out on Prime Video. It's like, I forget the name of it. I'll show it on the screen, but it's I think it's a comedy movie. She's a life coach, which I find kind of funny, but no comment on that. And she's apparently a luxury realtor in Newport Beach, California. So after the show, a lot of people always speculate like if she is still friends or has a relationship with Brett, because on the show they seem to have pretty legit of a relationship. He didn't pick her to win, but a lot of people thought he would. But anyways, yeah, she says that they actually have only talked when it came to like work related things. They don't genuinely have a friendship or relationship, and that kind of bothers Heather. I think she says like she's more of like a down to earth real person. She finds that Bret Michaels is not. But yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, Heather does have her own podcast. They haven't posted in about like 8 months, but it is called Celebrity Truth. She kind of hosts it with this drag queen named, I think it's Sham Ibrahim. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, they host a podcast where they kind of interview celebrities, other like drag queens, which I love. And yeah, it doesn't seem to be doing as good as, like I said earlier, Lacey's Talk of Love. But it seems to have some kind of little following. I don't know much more about what Heather is doing in her life. She looks pretty happy on Instagram, though. She has some really cute pictures with people in, like, Las Vegas and stuff. But yeah, she seems happy. She's acting, being a life coach, and a luxury realtor. So make sure you guys go follow Heather. I'll have her Instagram on there so you guys can go support if you really liked her. Okay, now time for my absolute favorite character to ever come out of the Rock of Love series. We have Daisy De La Hoya. I cannot tell you guys how obsessed I was with Daisy. I don't know what it was. I think it was just the fact at the time she kind of reminded me of Avril Lavigne, but she also met kind of like these scene girls we loved on MySpace at the time. Meets kind of like a bimbo, which on this channel we are very bimbo positive. So when I say that, I don't mean it in an offensive way at all. I love it more than anything. I love the plastic surgery. I love the over femininity. It's just amazing. Yeah, so Daisy came from Rock of Love Season 2. She was the runner-up to the show, I believe, yes. So she didn't get picked to win. But after her season of Rock of Love, she actually got her own of Love show, and it was called Daisy of Love. I remember the promos for the show coming out, and I was like, oh, who is this bad bitch? Like, I was so excited for the show that was gonna happen. Just I loved the aesthetic of her season of the show. I will say that it was so like MySpacey scene girl meets, like I said, Avril Lavigne, and she had like all these guys fighting after her love. It was really amazing, and she always looked really good on the show. I will say that. But to take up kind of a bad news, which kind of breaks my heart. After the show, she didn't really find love. She kind of turned to a lot of drugs, among like other substances to cope with the fall from reality television, and probably other things mentally we all deal with. As far as I know today, she seems to be living a happy sober life. I can't really see much. Her Instagram is private. I do know when like I Google her, she's in a rock band called Black Star Electra. I've listened to them with my friend before, like in my car, and it had a pretty cool vibe. It wasn't my favorite music, but yeah, I just hope Daisy's really happy. Can't say too much. Also, just a side comment, I didn't know that she was the niece of Oscar De La Hoya, which I think is like a boxer or a fighter. I don't know. But I never knew that was actually, there was like a connection. I should have obviously put it together, but I just never did. But yeah, honestly, we are wishing Daisy the best and sending all the love from myself here at the Gag channel. Daisy, if you happen to come across this video, I just want to send all my love. Love you. Hope you're happy. And yeah, that's all I can say. But yes, Daisy was definitely my favorite from the Rock of Love show. So last but not least, we have Jess, and I think you say her last name like Rickleff. She was the winner of season 1. Also, earlier in the podcast, I accidentally called her Jen. Why the hell did I say Jen? I don't know why. I guess I wasn't doing my research prior to talking about Jess. I like know her name. I don't know why I said Jen. But anyways, yeah, so she was the winner of Rock of Love season 1, and I know myself and a lot of other fans are always going to remember that pink, bright, like spiky hair bombshell that Jess was. Like, she was so pretty. And honestly, she had this different vibe from the very get-go when she like came onto our screens. She was a lot more humble, down to earth than a lot of the girls I feel like were portrayed, which obviously was for a reason. The producers apparently from the beginning were kind of shooting for her to win. I found a subreddit where someone like claiming to be a producer, or a storyline kind of producer, which it seemed pretty legit to me, and it makes a million sense. More than just like they'd let the reality shows just play out how they do. I don't believe that. But yeah, apparently the producer at the time said that they kind of set her up to win the show, and that's kind of how all the seasons are. But I really liked Jess. She had such an awesome personality on the show. She was a little, I feel like, more quiet than a lot of the other girls, which honestly probably left her better off with the image of leaving the show, you know what I mean? She didn't necessarily do anything too embarrassing that she wouldn't be like unfortunately hired at a job or anything like that. Anyways, but I do know in like today's time, Jess really doesn't want anything to do with the franchise. Right after winning the show, she went back home to be with another guy, and I don't know if anyone remembers at the reunion of the show, she actually told Brett that he should have chose, I think, Heather, which I don't know if that was already planned out to be talked about or whatever, but yeah, she doesn't think that he should have chose her, which I feel like she should have said that at the season finale or something, but who knows. And then just from searching, I see that she's really happy living in Hawaii. She's apparently married to a Jerry Springer bodyguard. I know we all remember Jerry Springer, but yeah, one of the guys on the show that was a bodyguard, she's actually married to. And apparently she's living in Hawaii, which I'm so jealous. I've never been to Hawaii. I've never desired to go to Hawaii before today. But now I'm like, okay, I would need to go to Hawaii. Like, that sounds so fun. Especially after this quarantine and being stuck in where I live, the Midwest, forever. Not so fun. So yeah, that is basically it for today's video. I'm going to do definitely more of these. I just can't talk for hours about all the girls. Like, this would be like a 3-hour long video. So whoever you guys want me to talk about next, leave it in the comments. And then the most people that get mentioned, I will definitely do a video on them. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel, Gag, where we will be talking about all things pop culture. influencers and just like random drama stuff. You never know. But yeah, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and can't wait for the next one. Bye.
Everybody now, time to show the whole world what we're all about. Be the girls with a passion